Well, here we are at the Hall of Heavy Metal Awards induction ceremony here at Anaheim Convention Center, and I am standing next to a legendary drummer, Carmine Appice. Carmine, how are you?
I'm good.
Excellent. And of course, Carmine's brother, Vinny, who looks like he's going to join us right now. Vinny, how are you?
I'm doing good. I didn't know he was here.
I'm getting an award. Oh no,
I'm getting an award.
No, I'm getting an award.
Congratulations on that.
It's the first time I'm getting an award. He's not getting an award.
Okay. So. How do you feel about this award? You got a place on your mantle to put it?
Yeah, I'm going to make room with all the other awards. I have to move them over.
I let him borrow my awards.
Okay, well, there goes Vinny. He's the winner. But, that's your little brother. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. He's been my little brother all my life. We've been,
that's how it works out, huh?
Yeah, he's a great player. We do our Drum Wars show, and we have a great time doing that. And he's carved his own way. I was proud of that he carved his own way. Mm-hmm. And we help each other, and it's really fun.
Excellent. Well, what are you up to these days?
Everything. I got my book is out, Stick It, My Life of Sex, Drums, and Rock and Roll. We're going to re-push it this year because 2017 is my 50th anniversary in the business.
Wow, great.
Yeah, and we got a lot of things going on for that. Vanilla Fudge as well, 50th anniversary. We just finished doing a few shows with Vanilla Fudge. Mm-hmm. My next thing on the plate is me and Vinny are doing an album, the Appice Brothers. Mm-hmm. And we're doing that in February. Then I go on a cruise with Fudge and go to Europe with Cactus. We got a Florida run with Vanilla Fudge. And I'm mixing a King Cobra Live at Sweden Rock Festival show that we did in June. And things are good, You're
not slowing down a bit.
No, got a lot of things going on. Yeah. And, what can I say?
And your arms and everything, you're feeling strong?
Yeah, I'm feeling strong. I always, I do the stuff that you have to do when you're my age to stay healthy and go to the gym and work out and try and eat good and play and just have a good time.
50 years for Vanilla Fudge. What a milestone. And 3/4 of you guys are still together.
Yep.
What? Any other plans? A record coming out to West Coast?
We actually have a DVD and a audio and DVD coming out of Sweden Rock as well. Mm-hmm. And we're just finishing editing and mastering and all that. And now we're debating whether we should make it into a mini documentary. So, but it'll be out sometime this year because really we have the whole year for the 50th.
Right.
Yeah, it's not really at one given moment. I mean, there's one given. I counted when we hit the charts in July of 2067.
Right.
So if you count that, July 2017 is really the 50th.
There's a lot of 50th anniversaries because 1967 was a big year in rock and roll.
Yeah, there's Chicago, there's Tommy James, there's a lot of people.
Right. The Doors, the first Doors album, they're celebrating that, and of course,
Wolf's another one.
Right.
So there's a lot of that was a great year for music,
Sure was. And of course, heavy metal. You've played on some heavy metal albums. Why do you think heavy metal has endured for so long? I mean, there's obviously a history to heavy metal. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the word heavy metal, it's really, it used to be hard rock. Right. Black Sabbath, when Sabbath came out, we did gigs with Sabbath and Cactus. Mm-hmm. It was hard rock. There was no such thing as a heavy metal.
Right.
1970. And then somewhere in the 80s, the term came alive and it became heavy metal.
Yeah.
And the guitars got louder and they got more heavy sounding, and until they ended up being the Metallica thing really. I mean, if you're going to call anything really heavy metal, that to me is what heavy metal is. The rest of the 80s was hair bands.
Yeah.
Playing hard rock.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
but it's still going on though. That's the amazing thing.
I was just talking today to my manager. I said, this King Cobra album we're mixing sounds amazing. And when we went to Europe in June last year, we played a few shows and we sold out to big audiences. I said, that audience versus like Vanilla Fudge, which is 2 decades before.
Right.
It's a whole different thing. It's the 80s thing seems to be the thing now. Mm-hmm. All around the world.
Yeah.
You go to all these festivals in Europe, it's all about the 80s.
Right.
You know, the 80s bands. You go, you know, all these 80s bands, 3 or 4 80s bands together playing, you know, gigs together.
Right.
Touring, doing tours, you know.
Right.
So, you know, it used to be the 60s, then it was the 70s, now it seems to be the 80s.
Yeah.
And then when the 80s are done, it'll be the 90s,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
By then we'll all be, you know, like
like a
90
cycle.
years old ourselves. Going,
Yeah. It's a vicious cycle, I guess.
But it's cool, you know. It's unfortunate that the business has turned to what it's turned to as far as the record business. It's really not a record business anymore. It's more like a industry gigs. It used to be you do gigs to support a record, and you put a record out just so people know you're still alive.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I've been talking to people, and I talked to somebody of Styx last week, and they were actually saying how it's not economically viable to make a record these days.
It doesn't. It's a waste of time. Listen, I got to go. They're calling me. So.
All right. Well, thanks again, Carmine. Sean Perry with Vintage Rock. Thank you.